Yan maya vashavarti Vishyamakhilam Brahmadi Devasura Yat Sattvat Amrishaiva Bhati Sakalam Rajyo Yatha He Brahmaha Yat Pada Plavamiva Bhatihi Bhavambodhesti Tirsha Batam Bandhoham Tamashesha Karanaparam Ramakhyam Isham Harim. I salute the Supreme Lord Hari, known as Rama. And we will be reading the Ramayana. But who is this Rama? So with this sloka, they are explaining. He is the Supreme Lord. He is the Hari, known as Rama, the cause transcending all relative causes, whose mysterious power controls all beings in the world, including Brahma, Deva, Asura, whose substance gives reality to all things as the rope does to the snake appearing on it. There should be something on which we can see something else reflecting, and giving the example of the Vedanta as the rope is there, and on that rope we see the snake. If the rope was not there, then we could not have seen the snake. So we see this Jagat, we see this universe, we see these various things because the Brahman is there. So Brahman is the substance, and that substance has taken the human form as Sri Rama. And it says the spiritual aspirant, he is the boat to cross the ocean of samsara. And I welcome all the devotees of Trinidad, and so nice to see you all. And I think all of you are keeping well. Last 3 months we could not have the classes because December somehow we could not make the class because of different programs, etc. January, February usually we are closed, our vacation, the Vedanta Society of Chicago, and this time I had a wonderful trip. Some of our devotee, he took me right from Chicago to Hollywood by car, and from there came back. So we went through one national highway and came back through another national highway, and stopping in different places, and met so many devotees at different cities. So that was a wonderful experience. Now after these 3 months, we are again reading Ramayana. The Ramayana, if we break the word Ramayana, this is the Rama plus Ayana. What is the Ayana? Ayana has different meaning. Maybe a beautiful flower is also Ayana. But the Ayana means the path. It is the path of Ramachandra, Sri Ramachandra. What is Ramayana? Rama Ayana, and that means the path of Sri Rama. And what is the path of Sri Ramachandra? Of course, it is the righteousness, Dharma. Dharma is the path of Sri Rama. Now we can ask what Dharma Sri Rama taught, because we are going on reading stories after stories in the Ramayana, so many things, and now he will be entering into the Panchavati. The today's topic is Sri Ramachandra in Panchavati. So he is entering into the Panchavati, he will be staying in the Panchavati, and all Ramayana started from Panchavati. So that is a place that we are reaching along with Sri Rama. And so many things happened in his life that also we know that one of his mothers, the Kaikeyi, she wanted that her son Bharata should be the king. The Rama was naturally had to go, leaving the earth, and so many. Now we are following Rama, Sita and Lakshmana, and we are entering into the jungle. Then what Dharma Rama is doing? Here the Dharma is keeping the promise. A man should be true to his words. That is the dharma. That is the greatest dharma. If each and every one, in whatever position that we are, if we keep our promises, then everything becomes so wonderful. But I don't know, the people can't do that. That is the only problem. That needs a great mental strength, that I am going to keep my word, as we see in the life of Rama. So, Rama plus Ayana, the Rama's path, and that is righteousness, and that is dharma. And in the life of Sri Ramachandra, we find he is keeping the promises. As the leader of the society, as the president of the country, or the prime minister of the country, or the ruler, and in different walks of life, we always take some promises, and we are supposed to keep those promises. That is called dharma. In the name of dharma, we do so many things. We are spending millions and millions to construct the religious institutions, the temples, the mosques, the synagogue, the churches. That is okay. But what is dharma? Sri Ramachandra is teaching us. And it is so simple. Anyone can do that. And that is, if I have given the word, I must keep that promise. If I have promised something, I must keep that. So, Rama Ayana, the falling Sri Rama, who, to honor his father's promise, happily left the comfort of the king's life and entered into the jungle, and he spent 14 long years inside the jungle. Look at it. So, that is called the tremendous mental power. Otherwise, it is impossible. Not for a day or two. 14 long years. And we will find how powerful he was. He alone could fight with 14,000 very strong, powerful Rakshasas alone. So we can understand how powerful Sri Rama was, but at the same time, he left his kingdom just like that. So this is the powerful mind. I have promised that I should not do this, and I will never do it. That is exactly what the Sri Ramachandra is teaching us. And we know that he left he was entered in the jungle, and he was keeping himself ready for the 14 years. And he reached the hermitage of Shutikshna. We have read up to that. In the previous, the November, our talk, we have read that he entered into the hermitage of Shutikshna. He had a wonderful conversation with the Shutikshna. Before the Shutikshna, another hermitage. So we get the picture that though we are saying that is a jungle, but inside the jungle, habitants are there, human beings were there, and highly respected people. They used to live inside the jungle. And who are these people? We always say sages. We always say rishis. We always say muni. These are all the Sanskrit terms. And they were the researchers of the spiritual life. How a human being can live and what they should do. So they were going on researching on that. And where they were researching? Nowadays we research in the universities, in the laboratories, in the libraries. And of course, some field works are also there. Sometimes the people, they will go to the field to research. But in those days, they used to research inside the jungle. What they used to do, the research? The main thing was to control their senses. They'll be controlling their senses. They'll be controlling their own mind, and they will enter into the realm of the world of the miracles. And what is that miracle? They declared there is only one God. In the Ramayana, we don't find that, because in the different way they are talking, that is there in our Veda. And the Veda, whatever the truth that they found and they taught it, Rama was also learned, and that was he was showing in his own life. What is this? This world is nothing but a temporary thing. And for this world, we should not spend our life. And only we are searching for the permanent happiness, but in a wrong place, in a wrong thing. We are trying to get the permanent happiness from the impermanent things of this world. We are trying to get the happiness from this body, from this mind, from the objects of this world, but unfortunately, they cannot give us the permanent happiness. If we can understand that, then we will understand Ramayana. Otherwise, we go on, and there are movies that there on Ramayana that is very entertaining, and we always like those things. But what is the main teaching of the Ramayana? Dharma. And what is that dharma? Keeping the promises. How we can keep the promises? If we have the strong resolution. So it needs a very strong mind. And there is a prayers are there. The rishis used to pray to the God. Give us birya. Biryam dehi. Birya means that mental strength. So he entered into the Shutikshna. And though the sage requested Rama, Sita and Lakshmana to stay in his asrama, Rama, as usual, he go to further inside the Dandakaranya. The name of the jungle was Dandakaranya. Still it is there. In the northern part of India, this area is there, Dandakaranya. Now because of the population, because of the changes in the society, not much of jungle, a lot other, it has become in the habitant places, the cities, but that area is still there. Panchavati is also there. Now we will enter into Panchavati along with the Rama. On way to the hermitage of Agastha, the famous sage, the Sita had a wonderful and very important conversation with Sri Rama. I think those who are following this, the Ramayana class, and we have already discussed it, but I will repeat that because that is very important. And then we will enter into the today's talk. Here the Sita, when we are talking about the Sita, she is only like a shadow following Sri Rama. But she was highly qualified and she was well-trained lady. And that will prove when she is always careful about her husband. But she is not transgressing. She is not fighting with Sri Rama. Rather, having the argument with Sri Rama. Now we will find how wonderfully Sri Sita is asking. Like a good wife who is always careful about her husband's well-being, the Sita is reminding Sri Rama, O Lord, virtue can only be acquired by renouncing all low desires. So I repeat this sentence, virtue can only be acquired by renouncing, by giving up all low desires. What are those low desires? Sita is giving a list of 3, and she is telling there are 3 sins are there. One is falsehood. For anything, if we are telling the lies, then we can never become a religious person. We can never become a person of God realization or the Brahma Jnani. It is not possible. The basic thing is Satya, the truth. Now those who have read the biography of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, you know, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is giving so much of stress on the Satya. Whoever is practicing this truth in his thought, in his behavior, in his word. He is lying on the lap of God. That Sri Ramakrishna said, যে সত্যকে ধরে আছে সে ভগবানের কোলে শুয়ে আছে. That on the lap of the God he is lying, those who are holding the truth. So the truth, that the first thing we have to learn, the truth is the main thing. Whatever we are doing, we must tell the truth, practice truth in our thoughts, in our behavior, and in our action everywhere. Second is adultery. And third is anger without provocation. Then the Mother Sita, she is mentioning, O Lord, you are free from the first two. You never told any lies, and you have no lustful hankering for others' wives or daughters. But reminding Sri Rama's promises to the sages at the ashrama of Shutikshna, Ma Sita said, Rakshasas have not done any harm to you, but you have taken vow to punish them. It is not proper to kill any creature unless it does harm to you. So we discussed about it and we read about this in our last class that we gave in the November. So what we find in Sita, though she is always quiet, but she was a learned lady. That is the picture we must understand. She was a learned lady, and when it was necessary, she could come forward and tell it to the world. And she is talking with Sri Rama. And she is reminding, and very humbly she is reminding. When she addressing the Rama, she told that I am not giving you the advice. I am only reminding that you must know that these are the three scenes. So this is the way she is talking. O noble lady, then the Rama told, addressing Devi Sita, and reminded her that Rama is a Kshatriya and a king. So Dharma again. As a Kshatriya, he is supposed to protect the society. Now in our society, particularly in Indian ancient society, the division of labor was given to the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. The division of labor. So your duties are different. The Brahmanas, they are supposed to meditate, they are supposed to research, they are supposed to practice the austerity and develop the righteousness that they should teach also. Dharma palan, dharma shiksha. Dharma palan, they are practicing the righteousness and at the same time teaching that, not harming others, not telling the untruth, not doing the bad things, not hankering for the worldly objects. So all these high moral values they are practicing and also teaching. And ultimately the result, happiness. Because we have seen that we are all running after the happiness, the joy, the peace. If we are having a lot of money but no peace, no joy, we don't want that life. The same way, our goal, though we are telling that is God, but in reality it is nothing but the bliss, the happiness, the joy. And how it is possible? By controlling our senses. Because all these senses are dragging us down to the sense objects and forcing us as if, encouraging us to get the joy from there, which is absurd. We can never get it. Again and again we are trying and we are failing. So we are following the path of the great soul like Sri Rama. Now the Sri Rama is telling, see, I am born as a Kshatriya. And as a Kshatriya, this is my duty to protect the people. Anyone in distress, whether I know him or not, if he or she ask some help, I am supposed to do that. Now, O Sita, you have seen how the rishis in the ashramas, everywhere I am going, they are complaining against a group of people who are called Rakshasas, and this group of people unnecessarily disturbing these people who are researching, developing the moral values. I am to protect them. Not that they cannot, they can also, they have the power, but they won't do that because that is not their job. My job, my responsibility is to look after that. So that Rama once again reminding us that what is the path, what is the dharma? The dharma is to keeping the promises, the responsibilities. As a Kshatriya, I am supposed to. At this moment, I am not a king. As a Sita reminded him, this moment you are not a king. So why you are using your weapons? Keep it over here in the ashrama. And afterwards, when 14 years will be over, you go back and take charge as a king. Then again you use these arms. And if you keep the arms with you all the time, that even the arms will always ask you to use that. Sometimes some people who are having the guns or the firearms, not that they want, but as if the firearms itself are encouraging them to do something if they made mistake, and so many things happen. It is almost every day the reports from different places. So Sita is guiding, but the Rama, he is telling, even though the Sita is telling, Rama is very strong, and Rama is telling, this is my promise, this is my Raja Dharma. This Raja Dharma, this is the responsibility of the administrator, and I must have to protect them. Now Sri Rama and his two companions reached the ashrama of the famous Agastha Muni. The great Rishi Agastha also welcomed Sri Rama with honor and affection. So, affection because Agastha was very, by age, the Rama was hardly 18 or 20 years old by that time, and I think less than that. Agastha was a very elderly person. So, obviously, he was welcoming him, giving him an honor because he is the king, and king deserves some honor. And he was the son of the great king, Dasharatha. They all knew. Agastha and all his ashramites, they were waiting for the Rama to come, and they were standing and to receive the Rama. When the Lakshmana went fast and told some of the ashramites that we have come, myself and Sri Rama, and the sons of the Dasharatha, and Rama's wife, Sita, the daughter of the king Janaka, we three are here. We like to meet the great sage. And the great sage himself came, Agastha. About the Agastha, there's a wonderful stories are there. But this Agastha who came over there to receive. So the Rama became humble and told, oh, you need not to come like that. I will come to you. But the Agastha said, this is also you must learn, my boy, if the guest is not received with due humility and hospitality, even an ascetic is doomed. Guest is God. Atithi Devo Bhava. So when we talk about the values, human values, that was developed in India, we talk about this. When Swami Vivekananda appreciating India again and again, and when he is mentioning Deva Bhumi, not because he was born over there, but because all these great ideologies, ideas that was developed in that society, in that area. So that is why it is the Deva Bhumi. Not because of the geographical area, locality, no. It is because of this ideology. If we lose these ideologies, We cannot say that India is a holy land. What holy? We have the cities, we have the everything that the other people have, everywhere it is there. But what is the difference then? Why people, they look at India for spirituality. What is the spirituality? Some the bearded souls, they are coming and giving some talk. No. The spirituality is this. Look at this and how Ramayana is teaching in different pages, in different the incidents we learn. Agastha, that elderly person, he is standing and waiting for the guest, Sri Rama. Why? He is mentioning the guest is not received with the due hospitality and humility. Then even the ascetics, he is also doomed. Or if the guest is not happy, Atithi Devo Bhava. Now it is both sides. The person who is going over there unannounced is called Atithi. Atithi means, Tithi means a particular time and the date, etc. Most of us in the modern time, we always prefer that you should announce first that this is the time and the date and this many people are coming and we are ready. But Atithi means unannounced. Any moment they can come. But whenever they come, whether the householder or the ascetics, to whom they come, they should be humble and they should show the proper hospitality. So they should control all the emotions. Oh, why they are coming like at this moment, I am not ready. There's nothing like that. So that is called, again, religion. The religion means, are you always ready to receive God? And if the God is coming in the form of an atithi, a guest, unannounced, we learn from the West that it should be all the time a properly programmed thing. Okay, that is good and it helps. But for the spiritual person, anytime anyone comes, we should be always accepting them. I can remember one of our Swamiji, Swami Ranganathananda ji, he told us when we were young brahmacharis in Advaita Ashram, it is a 5-6 stories building, and in the noon time, mostly Ramakrishna mission, they get up early morning, so they'd like to take some siesta, we can say, the short break in the noon time after the food, 1 hour break. So food 1 hour and the rest 1 hour, the 2.5 hours, the ashram is to be closed. Now suppose somebody coming and giving the bell, then the Swamiji told, you should not ask him to wait for that time when the office will open or the ashram will open. You must go down and open the gate, ask him to come in and tell him that, can you please wait for some more time? That at least you should receive that. Maybe you are losing your time, your resting time and all that, but still that you should do. You are young people, you can't do it. So by that way we learn that whoever comes to the ashrama, they are coming to our God. Whoever coming to my home, they are coming to our house, means maybe the God in that form is coming. And I cannot say no. We must be careful, but still. So that is what we learn from the Agastha. Rishi Agastha then gave a golden the bow and quiver. And he said that the Indra has given those things to him through Rishi Agastha, and the bow was made by a famous person in the realm of God, and it was the Vishnu's bow. The bow and arrow, that the bow he was given, the Vishnu's bow, Indra gave to Rishi Agastha, and Rishi Agastha is giving to Sri Rama. And it was really, really excellent bow. Why he is giving to Rama? Afterwards we will understand. When the Rama will enter into the Panchavati and the things will happen, most of us we know the stories, this bow will help him. And the quiver, that is also very mystical, the arrows will always be there. The quiver is always full with the arrows and very powerful arrows, and it will always be there. And he also gave a sword with golden hilt. All these divine, the weapons the Rishi gave to Sri Rama. Rama, I am glad that you have come to see me with Janaki and Lakshmana. May you be happy. After receiving and then giving the gift, making the Rama happy, then he is telling that I bless you. And I bless you, what the blessing? Be happy. So when we bless with so many other things. So, because the people will be coming and asking for, I want to be successful in this competitive exam, I want this, I want that. But the main thing is to be happy. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, again, many of you know, 1st January 1886, he gave the unique the blessings. Let all of you know your own self. Tomader chaitanya hok, in Bengali he said. Let you know your own self. And that is the ultimate. The moment we know that, all happiness will come. So what is the goal of human life? Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, it is the God realization. God realization is the goal of every human being. And what is that God? It is a source of happiness. And what we hanker for all through our life? Happiness. When we were little kids, we want the company of the mother, company of the father, company of the family. Why? We feel joy, we feel happiness. When we grow our the different type of objects that we like to get. Why? Happiness, happiness, happiness. So ultimately, so the Rishi is giving the blessing, may you be happy. Agastha appreciated Ma Sita for her devotion to Sri Rama and indirectly appreciated Pativrata Dharma. Those who are regularly following this Ramayana, you must be remembering, or you can go to the YouTube, it is all there. We at length discussed about a transition. The Pativrata Dharma from the Ramayana, from the Sri Ramachandra's time, because in the Satya Yuga, the whole period of Satya Yuga, they were Brahmavadinis. The women were given also the responsibility that you should also join like other men, other rishis, to search for the truth. So the responsibility of the women were also there to search for the truth. What is that truth? Where from we have come? What is this? What should be the goal of life? How we should lead the human life? And all sorts of things. Not only that, to develop this present worldly life also, they used to research how to grow the different type of fruits and how to take care of the horses and the cows, so many things, all knowledges, like the present day world. The different researchers, they are researching and giving their result to, and then a group of people, they are producing all those things. Whole society is happy with that. Similarly, in the beginning, when the human society was forming, as because the people were, whoever were intelligent among the men and women, there is no bar. So they said even the women should also join in this. Those who are really capable, they can meditate, they can research, they were allowed to do that. And there are so many women saints are there, we know that. Then afterwards, when at the time of the Ramachandra, it became the populated and it was necessary to form a human society. And that human society should have do's and don'ts, responsibilities and the duties. All these things were there. Now again the society depended on the women to develop good household. So they were asked to come back and join in this responsibility. It is time is over. Now that truth we have found, we know how to get that truth to reach over there. But now we need your help to develop the human society. And for that human society, this is necessary. So they became, again, the responsibility came on the women, and it was pativrata dharma. So sometimes some people in the modern days world, they are criticizing why they should be all the time inside the house, they should also go out, they should all, that is okay, different discussion. But the pativrata dharma was also a great responsibility for the women to develop the families. The homemaker, nowadays they say, very correctly they say, homemaker. If the homes are not correct, the human society will break down. There will be no human society. People will be there, but it will be just like any other the societies, the animal society, bird society, reptile society, something like that. There will be food, there will be some living, then there will be the fighting, and then there will be death. That's all. Then taking birth and dying. But the human society is completely different, because you have to develop the human qualities over there. And inside us, our nature constantly provoking us to go out and grab things. Now it is the mother, and she will go on telling softly, very gently, very lovingly, and slowly, slowly transforming the mind of the young people to a very qualified, highly trained human being. And he will be trained to control his emotions, his senses. This is a great responsibility for the mother. And we will find afterwards how the Rama's wife, Sita, also practiced that. Her two sons, they were really great personalities. So that is a different story, we will come up to that. But here we find even the Rishi Agastya is appreciating Sita, telling she is now at present what was required, the pativrata dharma, she is practicing that. And that is the reason she left the palace, comfortable life, and followed her husband wherever he goes. So this, and your wife, Sita, will be considered as one of the foremost of chaste women like Arundhati. You know that the greatest, the lady that was respect was given Arundhati. The Arundhati, there is a star, it is dedicated in the name of that famous lady. She was the first in the transition. Many of you must be knowing that a question was raised by Sister Nivedita looking at the life of Ma Sharadamani Devi. And Sister Nivedita, she read and learned a lot of the Indian, the ancient values. So she understood that this transition period, and she appreciated that. But when she was met the Ma Sharadamani Devi, then she was wondering, and she raised this question: is Ma Sharada is the end, the last person of the ancient responsibility, that is pativrata dharma, or again the taking us to the Brahmavadini dharma? So it is a transition. The mother is the bridge between these two, the pativrata dharma and also the Brahmavadini. So that is a different discussion. Ma Sharadamani Devi encouraging the women to learn Veda, to understand the language, and also practice austerity. And the unmarried women, they should dedicate their life to realize Brahman, realize God. Why not? Once again, because now the society has rules, regulations, they have the administrations, they have the laws. Now the women don't need that. They must once again go for the spiritual understanding, spiritual development. So the Pativrata Dharma and the Brahmavadini Dharma, both we find in the life of Ma Sharadamani Devi. But for the Sita, she was in the transition, so that Brahmavadini period was over and Sita was the foremost of the Pativrata Dharma. And the great Rishi is mentioning this. He then asked Rama to stay in the ashrama, but Rama, as usual, refused and requested him to give information of a place where food and clean water will be available. So, Rama, we have noticed, the most of the time he is not staying in the ashrama. Why? Some places he was there. The Lakshmana built a separate cottage. Ram, Lakshmana and the Sita, they lived over there for a short period of time. But whenever Rama was thinking, because 14 years he has to live, so he wanted a good place and safe place where the clean water will be available, food will be available. So he wanted to be there. Another thing is ashrama pida. Many of us, we don't know. Sometimes we go to the ashrama, go to the temple in the odd time and create problem for them. And then we go and try to do this and that. Instead of helping, we make more problem for the ashrama. That's called ashrama pida. Pida means problem. And that is a sin. Again, I remember then when we were the very young initiates, brahmacharin, I joined in the Cherrapunji in the Ramakrishna order. Cherrapunji is the northeast part of India. Is a very beautiful place, the Cherrapunji, in the state of Meghalaya. So we have schools over there to teach the tribal children. I joined over there. I stayed for a year or so. So then the in-charge Swami Gokulananda ji, he used to teach me. So when you are going out as a brahmachari, we are not supposed to eat in the restaurants and the hotels. So we used to go to the nearby ashrama. But he used to say, you should have some fruits or some nuts with you and a little water. If you have perfect timing, then you go to the ashrama. At least 1 hour before the lunch time. So they will know that an extra plate has to be served. So the food, when they are preparing the food, they will take some extra provisions will be given. So they can serve you the food. But after when they have finished their lunch, everything is closed. Suddenly if you go again, they will reopen the kitchen, they will try to find out the food and then they will serve you. Of course they will do that, but that you are not giving them the proper respect. And by that we are creating problem. You are just going for your own comfort. No, you should not do that. That's called ashrama pida. Rama, in his life, is also following this. Because ashrama has a routine. They go in that way. But if you are there, you don't know what are the routines, and then for you, they have to break the routine. So that is not good. This is called ashrama pida. So you must follow this. So what is religion? Always aware. Am I creating problem for others? So that is called religion. The religion means we always think about external things. The temple, the puja, the food, and the celebrations, of course they are there, necessary. But the main thing is to transform. If we are not transforming, then it is of no reason to follow the religion. We have to transform ourselves. It is not only applicable to Hindu religion, applicable to every religion. That is why Swami Vivekananda said, let each and every individual be a sect. When you are talking about the sectarianism, we are afraid. The sect means following only a person and his philosophy. No. Swamiji is telling, why not? Let each and every one be a sect. Develop his own path, his own the practices. It doesn't matter anything. But there should not be any sectarianism. What is the sectarianism? Understanding that as I am thinking that my path, my view, my decisions are correct, similarly others are also correct in their own way. I should not fight with them. I should not criticize them. I should not try to belittle them. If my devotees are going over their own, you should not go, you should not mix. Not like that. Let them go. And those who like your policies, your philosophy, your path, your teaching, let them follow you. Others may go. But we are all going to the same goal. That is called the unity in diversity. Not that you have to put each and all idea in one place and then mix it together. Not like that. It should be all different ideas living in different places, but they should go together. Friends, you will be very happy that I used to talk to you all the time about the Home of Harmony. This coming May 21st, that is going to be inaugurated. You know that we purchased an old church, Presbyterian church, Methodist church in the city. Now we have changed that for our use. Renovation and all the reconstructions almost complete. We have invited some Swamis of all of North America. They will be all coming. 21st is a Saturday, 21st May. If any of you are here in Chicago, you are most welcome to attend that. It will be morning 10:30 to 1:30. This is and dignitaries, other religious leaders from other religious faiths, religions, they will also come and join. So this is the planning. So why we are doing this? Only to spread this message of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, who is the embodiment of the parliament of religion. He practiced different paths, different religion, and then he said all paths are leading to the same goal. Being the follower of Ramakrishna mission, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, we are trying to give it to the world to understand we can survive together. We need not to speak only one language. We need not to follow only one culture or religion. Let there be varieties, and varieties of the beauty. Otherwise, if it is not the variety, then the monotony will come. If all people are the same type, there will be monotony. So varieties are necessary. Let there be variety, but let there be no conflict. How it is possible? Understanding. So how we understand? By following the path of the great soul like Sri Ramachandra. So we are following the path of Sri Rama. So this is how the Sri Rama is going. And when he asked, please let me know where can I get and stay, and then that time the Rishi Augustus said, there is a beautiful place called Panchavati. Now the Rama will go to Panchavati. There is a beautiful place called Panchavati. Now he said, full of fruits and birds and deers. The indication is you will get your proper food over there, and at the same time no scarcity of water. So the Rama, Sita and Lakshmana, again they started their journey to Panchavati. On the way they met a very special person. He was having two wings and he could fly. And that is said Jatayu. The Jatayu, though we are depicting like a bird, but actually not. There were different type of tribals, they were there, and they used to practice like this. They were the worshippers, maybe they used to have the symbol of the maybe falcons, the big birds. So they were following like that. Like the afterward, the Rama will meet another group of people, another group of tribals, we can say, that is the Hanumana. That they used to have the dresses like the Hanumana. They were all human beings. We have to understand this. They were not animals. They were not birds. Then the Hanuman was also a great soul. So Rama along with the Rama, when we are traveling, we will be meeting different type of wonderful people. Though they used to live in the jungle, on the highlands, on the mountains, and they used to have them dressed like a different type of animals and birds, but they were all human beings. Jatayu also was a human being, according to me, what I feel. This Jatayu was a very powerful person, and though he became very old, he was sitting on the way. Rama first was doubting, who is he? Then he said, don't be afraid, I am the friend of your father, I am Jatayu. Friends, let us complete over here, and in our next class, in the next month, we will first begin with the conversation between Jatayu and Sri Rama. And there is a beautiful way that Jatayu, he is giving how this society started. In the Bhagavata, we find this is very clearly mentioned, and in Ramayana, through Jatayu, the same knowledge which we find in the Bhagavata, the life of Sri Krishna, we find the same knowledge here in the life of Sri Rama. So we will have that thing, and then we will enter into the Panchavati. So thank you very much. If you have any question, then we can try to answer, or we will conclude here. Sarda?
Yes, Swamiji. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. All right, Swamiji. We do have Suri. He wants to say a prayer for us before we end.
Sure. So let us have that prayer. We will say Shanti 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It's louder.
Om Sri Ram Sri Ram.
Om Sri Ram. Om Sri Ram. Okay. Wow, beautiful. Om Sri Ram.
How to forget the next word? Next word.
Hey, how old are you now?
How old are you now?
4.
3 years or 2 years?
I am 4.
Oh, 4 years. Acha, you're a grown-up lady now.
But my birthday coming up, and but when I'm going to get 5 years old now because my birthday coming.
Oh, good, good, good. Congratulations. Congratulations. And if you come to Chicago, I will give you a lot of candies on your birthday, okay? Acha. Okay, then friends, let us say Shanti 3 times. Om Shanti, 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 Harihi Om.